get to the sale. What I've done is I've just broken up some key components. I'm going to talk about each of these components. Some of these things, all of us have got a handle on this thing, right? Some of these things we need to work on. But if you break this down, as you're writing this down, if you break this down and think about what you're doing at every level of this process, this is going to give you a format and a walkthrough. Somebody's asking a question. This is going to give you a walkthrough. Yes, you can ask me a question and I can ask Damien that question later, James. So here's the thing. What I've done is I've literally sat down and broken up the pieces to get you to a sale. And there are a couple of pieces that you need to be mindful of in how you approach this so that it dramatically improves your conversion. So let's get into the rock and roll. Finding a prospect easy. We all know how to get lists. LinkedIn is the biggest database on the planet. If you don't use LinkedIn, buy Sales Navigator. I highly recommend that you use LinkedIn as part of your strategy, or you know where to get lists. Inc. 5000, trade shows, associations, business groups, lists online. There's a ton of places to get prospects. There is no shortage of finding a prospect. We need to be very clear about what we're offering and what we're doing to the market to deliver to that market. So if we know what we're offering, the big question is who's going to buy, or who's buying this now, or who do we help? That's easy to identify. This is the easiest part of the whole process. Finding the leads, finding the process, getting those sorts of things. Or if you're going to run ads, you run ads. This is simple. All of us should have a handle of prospects. If you don't have at least 100 to 200 prospects that you're nurturing right now, then I don't know what you're doing. I think you're just sitting, you must be sitting on your hands, because it's the easiest thing to do, right? Number two, get on a call, right? This is a very difficult thing for a lot of people to do, apparently, but it's really easy. If you've got a relevant offer, and that's something that will help people. So for example, I think somebody shared Local Viking as a software piece yesterday. If you've got data, if you've got information and you can give that data and information to somebody on their business or something that's relevant to where they are, hey, I've got access to your local listings in the marketplace. I've got the data. It shows you where all your competition is. And it shows where you're sitting right now. This is something that every business needs right now, because right now your clients are looking for you. If you'd like to get your hands on it, give us the best phone number to contact you on. I'm more than happy to share this information to you for free. Simple. Make an offer, get on a call. The other side of this, make an offer, pick up the phone and say, hey, I've shot this through to you. I just want to make sure that this is relevant. If you can give me 60 seconds, you can let me know whether or not we should continue the conversation. Easy peasy, easy peasy. We should all be able to speak to at least 1 to 5 people per day. 1 to 5 people per day, that's 20 people in a month. That's 100 people in a month if you did 5 a day, right? If you spoke to 20 people a month, every single person on this training, or anybody watching this replay, you'll be able to generate between 3 and 5 sales every single month. If you're looking for 3 to 5 sales, you have to have a physical communication, a conversation with at least 1 person per day. If you've got 8 hours in your day, you've got 8 hours to have 1 conversation. It's not hard, right? It's not hard to do. Just work out the fastest way to get somebody on a call. So next, see if you're a fit. You want to figure out if you're a fit right now. Is what I'm doing something that's relevant to you? Is what I'm doing something to be helpful, something useful? If it is going to be helpful and is going to be useful, the next step is let's show you, or let's demonstrate how that's going to work for you, right? So I want to see if this is a fit for you. This is what we're doing. This is what we're sharing with businesses. Let me share a demonstration, or let me show how this is applicable. Is this something that will be useful to you? Great question. They go, yep, great. Next step, let's make a time. Very, very simple, right? So want to validate the importance of their current situation, right? This is really, really important, right? So when you get somebody on the call, you want to know if this is a now thing, this is a project that is a must, or this is something for later. If it's later, then this is where some people get caught, right? The person says, love the idea, let's have a chat. And then you go through the whole presentation process, but they're not ready to buy. They're not actually interested, or this thing isn't the most important thing they need to be working on right now. We need to identify, make it easy for them to go now or later. So if you're telling me you want to improve your conversions, or if you're telling me you want to get better quality leads in the business, or if you're telling me you want to generate cash flow and revenue and make that a predictable process, is that something that you need to be working on now? Is it important that you actually implement something right now as a must-have, or is this something that you want to do later? Out of 10, what is it? If I get a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, I'm going to do it. If I get anything below an 8, there's no point in having a conversation. So I want to validate the importance of their current situation as to why this is important right now, right? So indoctrinate them. This is one of those pieces that most people don't do. Remember, if we're reaching out to people and we're trying to shrink the sales cycle, we need to get to know people, and we need those people to get to know us. So one of the fastest ways to get to know people is to actually indoctrinate them, let them know your methodology, how you help people, what is it that you specifically do. You set up a really simple page with a video or a walkthrough or something that explains this is how we work with clients. These are the sorts of results we can get with clients. These are the sorts of things that we want to make sure clients take advantage of. And then underneath that video or that piece of information, hey, here's a case study. Here's an example. Here's some testimonials. Here's some things that we know. Ultimately, the idea is to get this result. But the indoctrination piece, if you put this piece into place, it's going to help you dramatically improve your sales, right? Because now they've got a little bit of oh, okay, we know who you are. You're a legitimate business. You've explained to us your methodology, your idea, how do you solve problems, right? This is, by the way, for everyone, this is really easy to do, right? All you got to do, you can either do slides to a video and talk the slides, or you can just hop on the camera and say, hey, thanks. Just want to let you know, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we help clients get great results. This is why what we do is really important to people like yourself. And we know that at the end of the day, we're innovating, creating, and always looking ways of improving those outcomes. Don't take our word for it. Here's some of the case studies you'll notice just below this video. Listen to some of the stories of our clients. Listen to some of the results that we've been able to get. Here's some of the examples of what we deliver to the market. Indoctrinate those people before you get to a demonstration. It makes it easy for them to go, these guys are smart, or these people are smart. I shouldn't say it's not just guys, our ladies as well. But these people are smart, worth listening to, right? This one little piece, very, very powerful, indoctrination, right? Next, do a demonstration, make an offer, right? So so what a demonstration is, right? Hey, here's your objective. We want to address the objective. We've done our discovery. We've found out what's important to them. This is what your objective is. This is why this objective is a must and a very important thing for you to do right now. Here's what's holding you up from achieving those outcomes and those objectives. This is the idea or the solution we've come up with. And let me demonstrate this for you. Here's an example of the results that we deliver for the market. So a little bit of social proof in what we do. And at the end of the day, based on what we've talked about, if you can see how we're going to bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be in terms of your objective, I guess the only thing we need to do is to work out how we can work together. The demonstration and your make an offer is your presentation. I would recommend that you do a pitch rather than a proposal. If you're doing proposals, you're elongating the sales process. And what happens in a proposal is it's all about the price. Your proposal is all about the price. It's not about the service, the value, what you're delivering to help people achieve the outcome. You're not helping them understand the strategy and the process. You're not building that value. In a proposal, they're going to literally go through your 5 pages and go straight to the price. That's what happens in a proposal, right? So you want to present. If you're going to do a proposal, present your proposal real time. And then what that allows you to do is to answer any questions they have, which is answer all the questions and confirm the fit. Do you want to answer, right? Can you see how this strategy will work? Great. You can see how this process will help you hit that outcome? Great. Do you have any questions about how we work together? No, we're good? Great, right? So you answer all their questions to confirm the fit. You said that this was the most important thing. Has anything changed? No, this is the most important thing. Do you understand that this is your plan, or this is a plan that you can implement in the marketplace right now? Yes, great. Right now, is there an alternative plan, right? If we don't do this, what are we going to do instead? No, we need to do this. Great. Confirm the fit, right? Then we're going to go and explain how we work together. You've got to be very clear about how you work together. Remember, what you're trying to do is build a relationship, one that will last for a long time. You don't want the client to work with you for a month or 3 months and then drop you, right? Because then you're obviously churning clients. So you've got to be very clear about how we work together, right? How we help you get the results, how you, the things that you need to be aware of in this process, so that they understand that you can't just run Facebook ads for a month expecting amazing results. You've got to build some data, some tenure. We want to work on a program, right? So next, we want to make sure you set expectations. So this is another piece. So the indoctrination piece is something that most people don't do. But this is another piece that a lot of people don't do. They don't set expectations. So here's an example of setting expectations. If I was dealing with a client, I'd be saying, Mary, right? I know that we're talking about generating 50 to 100 leads every single month, right? Which is fantastic. But those 50 to 100 leads are not going to equate to 50 to 100 sales, because naturally what's going to happen is sometimes you're not going to get in touch with these people in time, and they may go elsewhere. Sometimes part of your sales process, out of that 150 or 50, you might only get to speak to 10 or 15 of those people. And of those 10 or 15 people, you might only make 3 to 5 sales, right? So out of 100 leads or out of 50 leads, you will make 3 to 5, you possibly will make 3 to 5 sales. Now, that is going to be determined upon your capability to help those people to buy. So let me ask you, we're going to work really hard, because the only customer that we can send to you is somebody who's interested in what you have to offer. That's what you're after, isn't it? I go, yes, great. So the idea is will you do everything humanly possible with your team, make sure they're trained, that they help answer those questions that people put up their hand, or help those people who are interested in buying to buy? Will you do that part of this process? Because it's really critical, because we know that this is where the ball is dropped, right? People do have questions, and people want to know, and people are interested. And let me give an example of where the ball is dropped, right? So recently we had a client, we gave them 200 leads and they didn't make a single sale out of 200 leads. So we were concerned that the leads that we were giving them weren't great leads. So what we did was we called those leads. We called 90 of those leads, and 30 of the leads that we called bought a product from a competitor. 30 of the leads that we'd sent them had actually went and bought. They went and bought $300,000 worth of sales that went to another person, that because this company didn't follow up and didn't help those people buy. But here's the other critical thing. We found another 15 people who are actually still interested in buying from 200 leads that were bad. So do you understand how important it is for you to make sure your team follows up these leads, so that the idea is to generate sales from the outcome? So my guarantee is we're going to deliver them, but you have to commit to us to make sure that you're following through. And we're going to help you along with those things in certain ways. Maybe we can improve conversions by automating some of the processes, but at the end of the day, we want to set those expectations correctly. So do you understand that you are responsible for those inquiries? Because the only inquiry we can send you is somebody puts up their hand. If you follow up too late, you will miss the opportunity. If you don't follow up at all, you're going to miss the opportunity. So do you understand how important it is for you to be engaged in this process? And they go, yes. So you set the expectation. I'm not saying we're going to go and get 100 sales, but have 100 sales. If you don't do your job right, you only make 2 or 3 sales, or you make no sales. And that would be a crime in this process. And we don't want that to happen, right? So you want to set your expectations with the client. And you want to thank and acknowledge the customer for trust. So let me give you an example of how I do thanking and acknowledging customer trust. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to build a customer experience. This is, by the way, every single person here should be doing what I'm about to share with you, right? I'm literally going to script it out for you live, and we've got on recording. So what most people do is they get the sale and they go, great, and then they send an email and they start the whole onboarding process, right? What I do, if somebody puts money in my bank account, if you put $1 in my bank account, this is what I do. I literally hop on my mobile phone, right? I open the video section, right? I open video, right? So I go to video. So I open my video like that, right? And I literally record, right, a quick message, right? So I'll do it, and in fact, I'll do it live here so you can see what I'm doing. So I quickly go, hit the video. Hey, Mary, I really appreciate the fact that you've come on board. Thank you for joining our company and our program, and thank you for trusting us with your marketing, or with your marketing. Our team's super excited. We're going to do everything humanly possible to hit the ball out of the park for you. At the end of the day, our team is going to be getting on the onboarding call and taking you through that process. I just wanted to personally thank you for taking the time to join us and invest in our services. Take care, full stop. Right? So now, if I want to play that video, hopefully I've got my volume up, right? I'm going to hit pause, and let me just do this. It helps if I unmute them. With your marketing. Our team's super excited. We're going to do everything humanly possible to hit the ball out of the park for you. At the end of the day, our team is going to be getting on the onboarding call and taking you through that process. I just wanted to personally thank you for taking the time to join us and invest in our services. Take care. That's it. Every time you make a sale, send them a little voice video like that, right? Thanking them, acknowledging them, appreciating the fact that they have trusted you with their money to help them with your services. So if you acknowledge every client and do that in a really personal fashion, that is an easy way to build that emotional connection between you. The last stage in the sales process is organizing an onboarding process for your clients. And a lot of people screw this up as well. But this is really important. If you want your clients to stay with you for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, what you do in the first 100 days of that relationship is critical. And the idea is that you want to create an emotional connection and bond, right? You want to create an emotional connection bond. So doing the video thing, that's a start. But what we do is we tend to survey our clients. We actually survey them. Okay, you've worked with people like us before. So what have you done in the past? How's it work? How didn't it work? Where did they fail? Where did you fail? What did you believe should happen? We want to know how they want to have a relationship with us, right, in that process. So by taking through that process, and one of the key questions are, we ask them how they want to be communicated. Do they want a Zoom call? Do they want to get on a call once a week? How do you want to be communicated so that we're on track? Because we want to make sure that we're getting the best results possible. So this creates an emotional bond between you and the prospect or the client out in the marketplace. So these are things that you want to be aware of, and these are things that you want to be mindful of. So to go through all of those things again, find the prospect, really important. We all know how to find prospects. Get on the call. I've just shown you 2 examples of how to get on the call. See if you're a fit. Hey, is this something that's relevant to you right now? Something important. Want to validate? Is something you want to work on? This is a must. You must do this right now. Or is this a now thing or a later thing? Really simple. Indoctrinate. Who we help. This is how we get results. Show people some testimonials, some case studies on an indoctrination page. Do a demonstration. Let me show you how we work. You know, this is your objective. This is why this is a must. This is what's stopping you, the roadblocks. Here's our solution. Let me walk you through how we make that work for you. Here's some social proof, some case studies, and here's what we do next in that process. Want to make sure that this is a fit for you. Are you okay with all these things? Yes. You know how we're going to bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. We cool? Yes. Right, great. Explain how we work together. This is how we're going to work together. Get them to pay. Make sure you set the expectations. Hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to do. We're going to explain what the process is, right? Then, thank you. Really appreciate that you've trusted us. Become a customer. Get on a video. Send them a nice personalized video or message, or even a thank you card to say thank you, right? To do that, and then organize an onboarding in the process. So, I'm going to escape out of this. And if you've got questions, happy to answer your questions. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway out of this so far is. If you've, based on what I've just shared with you, what is the biggest takeaway that you've had in this session? Just type in the chat. Biggest takeaway. The indoctrination, absolutely. Everybody should have an indoctrination page. Everybody. I have indoctrination pages. Everybody has indoctrination. It's really simple. This is what we do. This is what we say. This is how we do what we do. This is how we help people. Here's a whole bunch of our case studies that you can go and watch, videos, all that sort of stuff. All of that's in indoctrination, right? Scott says, acknowledge them. Yeah, acknowledge them for buying. Say thank you for becoming a customer. Do something unique, special. One of my champions, Adam, what he would do is he would ask his clients to take a photograph on their iPhone of the whole team. Get a photo of you and the team. Can you just quickly get the team together and take a quick team shot, right? So they go out there, take a photo of the team and say, look, text me the photo, right? Text me the photo. So he gets the photograph. He goes down to a place where what they do is they turn a photograph into a watercolor painting, like a watercolor canvas painting. And then he would go, but it cost him like $200. And he would blow this up. And then he would have it delivered to the office as a thank you for becoming a client. What are they going to do with the painting? They stick it up on the wall, and of course, presented by his company, right? As a thing. So, absolutely blown away. The clients love it. Now, it costs him $200, but here's the thing: his average client invests $30,000 in his services. So to spend $200 to say thank you, and they have to walk past that painting every day in the office, right? They have to walk past that thing every day. They see other people walk in and say, hey, great painting, right? $200 for $30,000 client. Who would spend $200 to say thank you in a really sincere way? Most people don't thank people for business. Right? The least you want to do is to say thank you for doing business with me. Right? So understand that that's a really important thing. Chris, the journey leading to the personal thank you, so that it has to be a video, not just a thank you page. Yeah, I mean, I just like to do a personal video. I do it all the time. You know, it's the easiest thing to do. Just send a text message to somebody and say, hey, and all of a sudden they're going to watch it, right? They're going to open it and go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool, right? It literally blows people away. Blows people away. I get so much feedback from those videos. So yeah. Questions on strategy, tactics, how to answer any questions you've got. We've got a whole bunch of people here, which is good to see. Damien Papworth, you ready to give us a bit of an update? Bill, good to see you here. Chris, lots of Chris's. Eric, George, the journey leading, awesome. Damien, I'm just going to unmute you, mate, just to see you're there. Hey, Damien, you there?
Yeah, John, good morning.
Morning, mate. Good to see you here, as always. Anything that you've been noticing, anything that you've been seeing, we're just coming towards the end of the week right now. What are things looking like in the world of agency?
Yeah, okay, so it's probably two things coming to the end of the week. So the first one, what you were saying at the start of today about the 100 people you had and 50% were battling. I think one of the things that's becoming really clear to me as we progress through this the last sort of few weeks is the issues that agencies in our network are having. They're actually issues that were already there. You know, they're just we've got a bad situation which has really revealed where problems are in people's businesses. So, you know, we've got a handful of clients that don't pay their invoices on time, claiming that it's tough because of coronavirus, but they're the same agencies that weren't paying their bills on time 12 months ago, 6 months ago, and that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
the ones that aren't growing and are struggling to get a deal are the ones that quite often turn up to a lot of our workshops, and when you chase up to them later, they've implemented nothing kind of stuff. So, you know, I think, and this isn't an attack on anyone at all. It's like, it's an opportunity for us to actually use this time as, you know, maybe this is a time that reveals out the weaknesses in our agency and things we need to work on going forward. So it's a really good sort of like a, you know, microscope on our business to see where our weaknesses are. The other thing is,
I think you're right, mate. I think, yeah. Sorry,
that's right. So once a month, I don't know if everyone here does this, but once a month, my executive, we get together and we go through we do a rating of all our key accounts and we traffic light them. So, and just based on how the relationship's going, is there friction? Are there challenges on our side that we can fix, that we can look at? Are there communication challenges, that kind of stuff? And so we did that last night for the month of April. I think it's a really worthwhile exercise for every business to do that. But we did it last night with our key clients, so our top 10%, I guess, top 15%, and really, really interesting to see what they're doing as a separate group from the rest of our clients. So basically, we had, obviously, New Zealand had a really tough, severe shutdown of business. We had one a lot more severe than what we had here in Australia. We had one client over there who basically got in touch with all his clients and organised most of them to go onto a maintenance package. So just to see through that shutdown. So he's looking to reinstate all those projects 1st of May. So in a week and a half. We've got another client who is mainly in hairdressing and beauticians and that kind of stuff. He had a little bit of attrition. They're looking to reinstate in the next week or two, most of those. And the rest of our clients at that level basically replaced any lost clients with new clients. So for that top level of agency that are, you know, decent sized businesses growing during good times, they didn't have attrition unless it was part of a strategy which had a pretty quick reinstatement element to it.
Hmm. And is it because they were just being very proactive about making sure that they were bringing in, client opportunities, they were following up all their leads, they were business as usual?
I think it's a bit more than that. I think they're solid businesses to start with, so they've got to, like when I talked about highlighting weaknesses, they've done a lot of that work. They do business improvement all the time, but
yeah.
So the business development obviously has been a focus for them during this period, being busy with business development, but also being super busy with existing client relationships and creating strategies for existing clients. Okay, I recognise you might need to shut down today because you're a restaurant, so we'll put you on a maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get together in 2 weeks, see how things are, so we can work out what the plan forward is. They're really, really active with that kind of client relationships strategy style. So that their clients aren't making decisions without them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
that's getting on the front foot. That's getting on the front foot,
Exactly. And it's serving. It's really serving.
We needed to do that. In our industry, we need to do that, being of service, and we need to get on the front foot. But what you said earlier on kind of also struck a chord, because I talked to so many people, and I think I'm not sure if I asked the question in one of these sessions, on a daily session. I asked the question, how many new leads did you get, in the last week? How many people did you physically speak to? How many presentations have you actually done? Like, I asked those questions, and it's really weird that most people, and I'm not just saying of people who've been hopping on these calls, I asked this question of even larger agencies. I've recently had a conversation with a group of very large agencies. I'm talking, 10 million plus type businesses, right? And I asked this same question of them, and I was getting the same answers. Like, we've had one pitch in the last month. We've had like one appointment or two appointments in the last 3 weeks. I don't know how many leads we've generated. In fact, I don't know if we've generated any leads at all. Like, I'm talking, $10 million companies that are sitting there going, we're not being proactive. We've been heavily reliant upon referrals for our clients, and we're kind of stuck in our wheelhouse, but we're not actually proactive. And I'm working with a few of these companies and saying, at the end of the day, the reason why you're struggling right now is because there's no throughput. There's no focus on throughput. There's a lady, somebody I worked with a few years ago, a lady called, I'm trying to remember her name. Her first name is Nicole. And her business, her whole thing was basically she would audit people's whole online footprint, and then she would pick what needs to be done straight away, and then she would go and fix it. But she would find a resource partner like you, like Globotel, to provide the components that they need to go and address and they need to go and fix. And so she had this thing, whereas she used to call it the 2 5s of the day, right? I need to introduce my business to 5 people a day, and I need to follow up 5 people who I introduce my people to every single day. She goes, I do 5 5s, right? 5 people introduce my business every day. So every day there are 5 people that are getting a direct introduction to what we do. And there are 5 people every day that I've got to follow up from that introduction and say, hey, how can we help? That's all she did. Now, she is not quiet. She is consistently busy, always, because of those 2 basic things. She's constantly making sure that she has an opportunity to follow up, to let people know that she can help in the marketplace. And even if they don't need help, they at least know that she's there, and then she just keeps churning into those customers, so that in any given day, she's got like 20 or 30 people that she's got to be talking to, right? That's why, she's running a multi-million-dollar agency. Right, and she's been doing that for years. In fact, I only got a message from her the other day, and she's saying she's absolutely flat out right now. She's actually hiring. She says the best thing happened. Coronavirus came, and all of a sudden now I've got a whole bunch of people I can hire. Right, that's her attitude. There's a whole bunch of people coming out in the marketplace that are really skilled in the ad and the marketing world, and right now I'm hiring. I want to find as many of those as possible. So she's been ringing ad agencies who've let go of staff and say, you know what, if you can't employ them, I'll employ them. Who are your best people that need help right now, who are trying to feed their families? That's how she's recruiting. She's recruiting the best people from other agencies that have decided to lay people off and they can't put them on. Yeah. So you're right. Number one, people this thing has very much highlighted a weakness that a lot of businesses have had, and I think the biggest weakness that most businesses have in this game is they're just not proactive enough.
Yeah, complacency.
Yeah, now is the time. Like I've said through this entire period, this last 3 months, this is the time that all of us will make the biggest impact on the market, because right now the market does desperately need to get their act together. The brick and mortar businesses, the new businesses that are coming in, the startups that are funded, they all need to get their online stuff together. They need to get their SEO together. They need to be doing AdWords and Facebook advertising. They need to build their funnels. They need to actually do nurturing campaigns and communicate with their customers. They desperately need to do this. Those businesses that do not look at this as a wake-up call for how they can maximize themselves online are going to be eaten up by the competition, right? And we here, all of us here, have the responsibility and the opportunity to be able to help as many people as we can, and more importantly, to look at our own opportunities and scale those businesses as well. So, Damien, mate, those takeaways for me were huge. A bad situation's just made a situation worse, and that's because people haven't got their act together. But looking at the ones that do have their act together, really communicating with clients, giving them options, putting them on maintenance packages, setting a time frame to get active again and start. All those sorts of things are absolute gold. So, mate, Damien, I really appreciate you hopping on here. For those of you who don't know who Damien is, he is the founder of Globatel Marketing. They're a white label resource partner that provides SEO, websites, copywriting, pay-per-click, Facebook advertising. What else do you do, Damien?
We do. The one that we're talking about a lot at the moment is LinkedIn outreach. That's what everyone should be doing at the moment, and that's what we should be selling to all our clients at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, mate. So, yeah, I appreciate you hopping on the call, mate. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Right. So, any questions? Any questions? James got a question. Yes, James, let's get you on here, James. James. Where are you, James? Hey, James, how you doing?
Actually, Damien, that was the exact question I was going to ask you. I wasn't sure. You talked about it, I think, yesterday or the day before about LinkedIn outreach. Yep. So you guys do offer that? Does he offer that for white label?
Yes. Damien offers that for white label. So if you reach out to Globatel, I'm sure Damien just said, yes, we do.
Yeah.
So reach out to Globatel and ask them how they do that.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. So absolutely. Is that the only question you had?
Yeah, I have a question for you if you want to go in another direction.
Yeah, let's go in another direction. I'm here to help you, man. That's what these calls are for, is to help you.
I talked to 2 clients that I had that I built websites, and then we casually had a longer talk about their business. Long story short, I found that they're really interested in outbound emailing. And then it just so happened that yesterday you mentioned that one company, UpLevel, I think it was.
Go High Level.
Yeah, Go High Level. That's it. Yeah. The thing for me is pricing it out. Some people have 50,000 names. Other people have 5,000 names. That's where I'm not sure how to handle, or I'm not sure how to handle.
So don't price it out on size of database. Price it out on size of project, right? So if they've got if they've got that, okay, great, you've got a database. My first question is, let's do an assessment of what's going on your database, right? So how many, how active is this database? How often do you communicate with them? How often do they feed back to you? What sort of campaigns you've been running? You need to find out what is the what that's going on with them, number one, right? Number two, this is about strategy. So you need to sit down and say, hey, so how we start is we start with a $5,000 strategy assessment on the business. So we need to survey you, we need to survey the clients, we need to address and identify the messaging so that we can craft the campaign. We're going to find out what the different hit points are based on buyer behavior as part of this process. And then we're going to set up the campaign. So $5,000 to have the conversation and blueprint and map it out. That would be a cheap blueprint, by the way, $5,000. From there, now we've got to set up a structure and integration. So if we're going to use an existing system that they have, let's look at what the capabilities are. If the capabilities are inadequate, then look at introducing a new system. Then you're going to charge for integration and setup. So integration and setup, $5,000 to $10,000, right? From there, you're going to look at campaigns. Now, you're not going to run one campaign, James. You can say, hey, this is a one-shot deal, one campaign deal, $15,000 for a campaign, 5% of all sales, gross sales as a percentage of sales, right? So that's one deal, right? If we're going to run a campaign and manage, let us manage your database with regular campaigns, $5,000 a month, 5% of sales. You get to pick.
Okay.
Or 10% of sales or 20% of sales. What do you want to know? Does that help you?
Very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So don't go in there, like think about the impact. If you've got 50,000 people on a list, a 1% conversion rate of 50,000 is 500. If you look at that, if their average sale is $1,000, that's $500,000 in sales. Is it worth investing 50 grand in you to get $500,000 in sales?
I've dealt with companies that are, 25,000, 30, 40,000, and the majority of them are really bad. They're really good leads. They just have a lot of names.
Yeah. So you want to filter those out. A 0.5% conversion on a 10,000 list is 250 sales. 0.5% is 250 sales. So ask them, when was the last time they made 250 sales in a month? Yeah.
Johnny there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I lost the connection there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about this.
I lost you, James. I don't know what's happened. You've disappeared. I'm just going to mute you, man. So anyway, James has probably got a bit of a microphone thing here. Any other questions? There's a whole bunch of people on here. If you want me to help you with a strategy, with a tactic, just chime in right now. Peter, good to see you here, man. Scott, good to see you. Tanya, Bellchambers, love to talk to you if you've got some questions. Just type in the chat. Let's answer your questions. If you've got a microphone, just say yes. If you want me to help you, just say yes. Let's answer the question. If you are afraid to hop on the call, then type in the question and I'll answer the question. I cannot believe we've got a whole bunch of people on here. Nobody's got any questions they'd like to ask me. Up. Any questions? No questions. Amazing. Type 1 if you can hear me. Type 1 on your keyboard if you can hear me. Just so I know you're there. George, Damien, awesome. Okay, so you can hear me, you can see me. Who's got some questions? Who's got a question? Who would like me to help them right now to craft strategy, campaign, sales process? Who wants to do that? Just ask me the question. George. Yes, let's talk about objection handling. I love objection handling. My favorite thing in the world is to handle objections. I'm just George. I'm going to promote you to a panelist, George. So we're going to get you up in the panel section. I'm going to unmute you up there. Hey, George, you there?
Yeah, hi, John. How you going?
I'm good, mate. So let's deal with objections. I love objections. So now I want to reframe objections for a moment. For me, an objection is a question. It's not actually an objection. It's not a stumbling block or a roadblock. When somebody gives you an objection, it is what they're doing is they have an unanswered question. And if we can understand the unanswered question, then we can help them. If we help them to answer that question, then we can move them forward and ask them to buy again. Does that make sense, George?
Yep.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you do. I want to just give context here before you ask your question, George. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I am interrupting you. The key thing, George, is we can get an objection to the most smallest offer, right? Have you got a moment, right? Yes or no. If it's a no, why? I'm busy right now, or I'm too busy to pay attention, or I'm not ready for this. Okay, so we've got a why, right? So understand that an objection, when somebody objects something or objects, is not a rejection. It is in that moment, whatever that you are asking, they actually need more information to be able to have a favorable step with you. That's the key. So when somebody puts up an objection at the initial stage of the sales process, I need to understand what that objection is. Why? What's the question I'm not answering here, right? What am I not making relevant? Yeah. Number two, if it's in a sales scenario, right, where somebody decides, hey, we need to think about it. That means if somebody needs to think about it, there is a question that I haven't answered for them. I need to find out what that question is, answer that question, and then ask them to move forward. If they're satisfied with the answer, the response to the question, then ask them again, can we move forward with this? If we can't, then we need to answer the question. So I know that objections are things that people throw up. And I will say one other thing with objections. Sometimes what we get into the trap of doing is they give you an objection. So it's like tennis, right? You lob a ball to me with an objection. I hit the response back to you with my response to your objection. Then you lob a ball and I get another objection. And I hit the ball back as my response to ejection. So all of a sudden we get into a pattern where we're going, come on, give me another ejection, give me another ejection, right? And we get into that pattern, into that frame of thinking. So my thing is I want to make sure I eliminate all the objections for anything right up front. So that when we do have questions to clarify, that we're really only clarifying something that has a logical implication. So George, ask me your question.
That was brilliant. And this was just a general question, which I'm okay with, because it's come up with a few clients which probably not qualified because they're just one-man bands and don't have capacity. But I've used agencies in before, hasn't worked. SEO has ripped me off. All of the bad experiences they've had with other agencies, and I'm calling them cold. A few have been able to get the conversation moving, but generally objections from bad experiences because some of them have been burnt and quite aggressive with it. But in terms of price is another one, but that's one thing, especially cold. I know indoctrination is going to be part of that, but
George, I can solve your problem in 1 second, right? There's this little company called globaltelmarketing.com, right?
Yeah.
And they're giving away $1,000 with their SEO for free, right? They're giving, I think they're giving 30 days. So, hey, I don't want to burn you. Let's give you some SEO, right? I'm willing to put our money where our mouth is and provide, like you've been burnt. Let me explain why you've been burnt, right? Let's go into that for a second. If you feel that you've been burnt, one of the things you've got to understand is if SEO doesn't work, right, then Google doesn't work. Because right now, I search for businesses like you search for businesses. So what I try to do, if somebody says, hey, look, SEO doesn't work, this is what I say to people. Do you ever look for services on your phone? Do you ever Google them? Right? Yeah. When you Google them, what are you looking for? Right? You're looking for the business and you're looking for a service or a product, and there's a link that you click on, right? How do you think that link gets there? Right? If you optimize your website properly, in Google standards and do that properly, if you are providing the relevant information for people to access, if you're making it when people come to you and they can see your site and what they're coming to is something relevant they're searching for, you dramatically improve your conversions. SEO, being searched or being found online, is critical. Every single company on the planet that is doing well right now spends a ton of money on SEO. That's why SEO is important. And there are many aspects of SEO that companies could take advantage of, but the reason why it doesn't work is through a poor strategy or a lack of patience, right? Because it takes time. If you've got a competitive word, and understand that this could mean the difference of hundreds of inquiries or tens of thousands of visitors to your website and having no visitors to your website. And so one of the things I want to help you understand is if I can eliminate your concern about how SEO hasn't worked for you, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is and give you SEO for free.
Awesome.
Right. So that's how, okay, how have you been burned? What did you do? What was the strategy? I don't know. They know, right? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you weren't informed. You didn't understand why it was important. But right now, organic traffic is really important right now, right? If I can't find you in Google Maps and if you're not open, then I'm going to go to a competitor. My question is, would you rather somebody pick up the phone and call you, or would you rather that person go to a competitor because they've paid attention to an important part of being able to be searched online?
Yeah.
So SEO. So do you agree with me that SEO or search marketing is important and relevant to your business in your local market? Yes or no?
No, definitely.
Because if it isn't, then I wouldn't be able to find all your competitors on the screen right now. If it isn't. It is important.
I would even say I wouldn't be able to find you. That's how we're on this conversation, but probably later in the discussion, not early on. But,
I'd say, hey, okay, let's have a look at this. You're in, pick a suburb, right? What business are you in? Okay, great. I've just gone on Google, where everybody would go. I've gone on Google Maps to find your business. Can't find you on there, right? So you haven't even let people know that you're open in the local market. But look at this. Do you know AJ Plumbing? Do you know TNC Kitchens? Do you know DNC Bathrooms? Do you know them? Oh, yeah, they're my competitors. Isn't it funny? I can find them, but I can't find you, right? So is it important to be found online? Is it important for customers to organically find you for your services? Is that something do you believe is important? Did you spend money that you invested on your website? Yes. Do you want that? Obviously you want that website to be found. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So I can give you dozens of examples of why search is important. Right. And I'm demonstrating to you right now why it's important. Right. So what I'm doing is, I'll tell you what, I'll make your experience even better. I'm willing to kick in and do the SEO for you. Right?
Awesome.
So you've got an opportunity, you've got the best deal right now available to you through a resource partner to go direct and say, hey, let me offer you something that's going to work, right? So whenever you get those objections, the reason why you get those objections is, yes, they're real. They didn't see the value. They didn't understand the strategy. They probably didn't hang in there long enough, or they actually really bought a cheap service that actually didn't deliver a result, right?
Yeah.
So of the three, which of these three do you believe it is? Well, I bought a cheap service that didn't deliver a result. But you know that big search is important, don't you? Yes. So at the end of the day, this is traffic. This is a strategy where you're making yourself visible directly to your market. And so it is really important that people find your market. And right now, search has tripled, quadrupled right now. So if you haven't got your SEO together, you've got a real problem because they're finding your competitors and not you. Would you rather the phone call come to you, or would you rather the phone call, would you rather them give the $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 kitchen to a competitor? Which would you prefer, right? I prefer it come to us. So what's the strategy for them to find you right now? What strategy put in place? I don't have one, right? What's a kitchen worth to you, right? 15 grand, right? So if for the less than the cost of one employee, I can get you a kitchen every month, then SEO is free. Yeah?
Yep, awesome.
Because here's the other thing with SEO. If you set up right, you can actually track and see what's going on, right? The reason why SEO is powerful, the reason why search is so powerful is if you set up, and this is where people don't do this right, if you set up the analytics right, if you set the goals and the analytics right, you can actually track. You can go to the client and say, hey, this is what's going on right now, right? This is what people are looking for. This is what people like. This page over here gets a lots of visits. Let's look at what they're visiting on the page. What offer have you got on there right now to make it relevant for them to buy your product or service? Fix that page, make more sales. Welcome to SEO.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because it's the analytics and sort of accountability behind that, which gets probably that interest, where they're sort of initially dismissive, but when we talk about giving them visibility of how things are tracking, and especially with like even Google Ads in terms of the call recording, I think that's gotten a lot of interest too. Just being fully accountable and transparent, I think that helps. That gets, like I said, a lot of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, James says you can also see how many calls. Yeah, you can see if you set up your Google Analytics right, and you've got a page where they've got phone inquiries and you've got call tracking. You can track SEO right to a sale. You can track an SEO search all the way through to an active sale. So you can say, hey, there were 15, 20 phone calls that came from SEO. If your average kitchen's worth 30 grand, of those 15 phone calls, if you close one deal, right, your SEO just made you 30 grand, right? The idea is we need to fix that page so we can get better conversions, better call rates. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you being on.
Thanks, John.
All right. Thanks. So I'm just going to change your role to attendee. Scott. You've got a campaign. Let's talk about your campaign, Scott. Where are you, Scott? Okay. You there, Scott? You there, Scott?
Oh, hello, John.
Yep. How you doing?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, mate.
Yeah.
So just so everybody's clear, what are you offering? Who are you selling it to?
Facebook ads to car dealers. But I'm not sure. Go on, sorry.
Go on.
I'm not sure where that's best needs to be in at the minute. So I did what you said. I've sent emails out, and then people what's opened them. I've been calling them up, and they're just like going, "No, we don't want any of that." So we've like shut up at the minute. That's kind of vibe I'm getting off them.
Yep.
So
switch from car dealers to trade services, mate.
yeah, I sent some emails out to plumbers the other day. That's why I said,
Yeah.
do you want to have a look at my email campaign?
Yep.
Do you want to
So if we're going to sell Facebook ads, let me give you an email, right? I'm going to record this so you can go back and watch this, but let me give you an email for plumbers right now, right? Yeah. Okay. So if I was going to plumbers, there's a couple of things right now that people need to be aware of, right? They need to be aware that they can actually get service in the middle of lockdown, right? Right now, in the middle of lockdown, you want to make sure that as a plumbing service, that you actually that you're safe, right? That you're keeping your customers safe, and that you are safe, that you can actually deliver the service that you can deliver, right? So that's number one for the plumber. Number two, all the plumbers need to let their customers who are in lockdown, they need to let all their customers know that they're actually open for business so they can take an inquiry. That's the second thing they need to do. And number three, they need to start becoming visible in their market as people are going to start to get back into work and start to come out of this lockdown period, right? People need to make sure that that you are starting to come out into, you've got to be visible, right? Because lots of plumbers, my biggest thing with the plumbers, the email is really simple right now. Have you closed down like a lot of plumbers and laid people off? Or are you actively taking inquiries and calls for customers, right? Have you closed down like a lot of plumbing businesses and laid off staff? Or are you able to accept plumbing customers right now? Yes or no? That's the offer.
Email up in here, John, at minute. I'll tell you my opening line is, are you still open for business, question mark?
Yeah.
Right,
No, that's not the subject line. That's not the subject line. The subject line, if you're opening, because that's a yes or no, right? I want them to think that I'm a customer. The email that I would send out to people was making them think like I'm a customer, right? So what I would do is quick question in the subject line. Quick question. Are you closed like every other plumber right now, or are you open to taking customers right now? If you are, what's the best number I can contact you on? Give me the best number I can call you on. Yeah. Right? That's the easiest email. Don't go into too much fluff in the email. I wouldn't do that. I would just say, hey, really simple message, right? Hey, are you closed like all the other plumbers and let go of staff, or are you actually accepting customers right now? Yeah. Reply with your best phone number. Just reply with your best number I can contact you on. Yeah. That's the email. Okay? Yeah, all right. Yeah. That's one email campaign. Yeah. The next email campaign that I would do would be, hey, right now, I'm not sure if you've done this, but have you actually let all your customers know that you're actually open right now? Have you gone through and let every single client know that you're actually open right now? Number two, right now, a lot of businesses have closed. Number three, sorry, a lot of businesses have closed right now. This is not in the same email. This is a separate email, right? A lot of businesses closed right now, but I noticed on Google Maps that you're not appearing on Google Maps, so people can't find your plumbing service. And number two, right now, there's going to be a huge gap. Lots of plumbers are closed. Customers are going to look for plumbers. Right now, are you making yourself visible and letting people know actively that you're open? If you're not, just give me the best phone number that I can get in touch with you on, just to make sure that people know that you're open for business. Yeah. That's the third email. Okay. James, the subject line was quick question. So just you got question, that, Scott? That's it. Yeah, quick question. Yeah. But if you can get their name, Scott, if you can go, Scott, quick question. Scott, yeah, that's what quick question.
Say. What would you rather do? Send 200 emails out unpersonalised, or 20 out with personal, with a name, etc.?
I'll guarantee you the 20 will get more open rates than the 200. Yeah. Yeah. Right. You know, if you're doing it, it doesn't matter. If you're going to follow up the 200 unpersonalised, then that's okay. Then send them out. Right. Yeah, but then you're going to have to pick up the phone and go, hey, did you get the email? I go, what email? I didn't get an email. Well, great. Yeah. If you can give me 60 seconds, you can let me know you can let me know whether or not you want to continue the conversation. Is that fair enough? Yeah. And I'll go, yeah, great. Well, here's what I sent in the email.
Yeah. I started doing that on Monday, but like I say, we're just getting no's all the time. I thought this is madness.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, you're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of no's. So then try a different message. Change up the message. You know what I would do? Go and find a plumber that's really busy. Ask him why he's really busy. And then go, listen, I was talking to ABC Plumbing and they are freaking flat out right now. Would you like to know some of the things that they're doing to keep the phones on the hook, off
Yeah.
the hook? And that way a plumber will go, yeah, I'm interested. If he's busy and I'm not busy, I want to know what the hell's going on, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing. Go look for a story. Go look for a local story where the plumber is flat out, where the phones are coming in, where they're still in business, they've kept their people. Just Google, Google, even call a few plumbers. Are you busy right now? I'm just calling as I say, are you busy right now? Like, are you busy, like flat out busy, or are you just trying to make things do? No, we're trying to make things do. Okay, great. Thanks for the call. Boom. Next, right? And try and find a busy plumber, right? And say, great, finally I found a busy plumber. I'm super, super excited. Mate, congratulations, you're super busy. What's making you so busy right now, right? Well, I'm doing this and this and this and this and this. Then you go to all the other plumbers and say, listen, I was speaking to Tom over at ABC Plumbing, and he's been doing some really cool things. His phones are off the hook. All these people in vans out on the road, and they're flat out. Are you flat out, or do you want to know what Tom's doing to freaking keep the business flying in this time of horseshit, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, you will get a response, right?
Yeah.
I've got friends of mine who are coaches in the fitness market. They're gyms have closed. All the gyms have closed down. The fitness market, the people that I know, they're freaking flat out selling marketing to freaking gyms right now, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everybody else says, "Yeah, my gym's closed. You know, we're not sure if we're going to come back." Blah blah. And on the other side of this, I see a whole bunch of people doing business out there, in the market. So James says, will the successful plumber actually tell you that they're doing great? Absolutely they will, James. You'll be amazed that when you take an interest in people, how much they will share with you. When I start asking questions, it's amazing what people will unravel for me. They'll tell me how much money they're making, what their profit margins are, what their turnover was, they'll tell me everything. People are very transparent when you take an interest in them. Tanya says, so Scott, does that help you, mate?
Yeah. I'm going to get on phone more often. Start following up a bit better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate you hopping on these calls.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. See what
Thanks,
I'm doing.
mate. Awesome. Yeah. So I just want to look at, so Tanya says, Tanya, no questions right now. Jumped on the call because the last week that I didn't do my productivity. You didn't jump on the call, your productivity went down. Just hearing you is motivation. Tanya, thank you so much. You need to get on a call with me, Tanya. You need to book some time with me, okay? Just go to calljohnlogar.com, pick the one on the left, pick the calling thing on the left. But let's have a chat, Tanya. James, you still haven't booked a call as well. So, Chris Lacey, I'd like to craft an offer for association management companies, like property management companies, but the associations have outsourced and the back end business of managing the member list, finances, etc. But these companies aren't doing any active marketing and promotion for the members. Found this from a discovery call with a therapist who is a member of a small association. So, Chris, my big thing is you've got to do your homework here. Crafting an offer, like associations that aren't doing those sorts of things right now, most of those associations are not going to spend any money. The ones that you want to hire, Chris, are the ones that are spending money on membership management, membership marketing, doing that sort of stuff. They're the ones that are going to spend the money. The ones that aren't spending the money on doing this aren't going to hire you. Right, so they're not the people you want to talk to because they're operating a little bit rinky-dink, right? They're not very active. They've obviously got a volunteer force. There's no money in the association, or the membership is slight. They don't have the capital. That's not the sort of people that I'd be going after in the marketplace. The people I would be going after are the associations that actually have money, who are actively marketing, actively sourcing. They're the people who are looking for your services, Chris. The old adage saying is, why does a bank robber rob a bank? Is because that's where the money is. The bank robber does not go to a bank that doesn't have any money in it, right? So to answer your question here, with association management companies, there are association management companies, but also marketing companies to go to. So I'm not sure what your question is, but Chris, if you're going to target those sorts of organizations in the not-for-profit sector, I would target the ones with money, not the ones that don't have any money. That's what I'd be doing. That would work a lot better. If you want, Chris, if you've got a microphone, mate, just hit yes, and then we can hop on, and I can give you another approach or another structure to it. If you want to give me some context, if you've got a microphone, just type yes, and then I can get you on the call. Any other questions? Happy to answer any other questions. We're good. We're cool. Association management companies are in panic with revenue dropping right now. Yes, they are. They are. By the way, associations, period, are in panic right now. Associations, period, in panic right now because what they're doing is what they haven't done, and it's what Damien alluded to, is they're finding out where they've actually screwed up with their membership. Is the fact that they haven't been proactive, they haven't been communicating, they haven't been prospecting, and they haven't been effective. So this is a very big thing. Lots of companies have cancelled events, revenue is dropping, yes, but those companies that can do virtual, so Chris, here's an opportunity. Show association management companies how they can run paid virtual events so they can save money on hotels. We just recently, I was involved in a company that just did a trade show event, a virtual trade show, which is crazy. They had 15,000 people show up for a virtual trade show. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, event management companies need to go online with their events. They need to do web events as opposed to face-to-face events. And it's also a great money spinner for them as well. So that's another way to do that. Andrew, regarding strategic alliances, should I lay out the full plan on the first call? No, you want to introduce them, Andrew, and say hi and get to know them first and ask them if they're interested in partnership opportunities, and then to explore what those opportunities are. You can't get married on the first date, Andrew. They need to get to know you. They need to get to trust you. They need to, maybe you can do something for them. That's what I would take. That's the approach I would take. Don't just go laying it all in one hit and go boom on the platform, because if they don't know who you are, they're going to go, oh, I'll think about it, right? You need to take a very soft approach to a proper JV relationship. That's not to say that people aren't interested. Let me tell you right now, they are very interested in JVs. Very, very. Strategic alliance is huge, but you've got to do it right. You can't be running in there like a bull in a gate, laying everything out because you're going to scare the crap out of people, especially if they don't know who you are. You've got to build that relationship. This idea came to mind. Look at the best-selling author to help them transform their book into an online training. If you want to go and work with most best-selling authors are not very good business people, Mark. So if I was going to do a best-selling author, I'd probably go and find a coach or find somebody who speakers. If you look at the National Speakers Association, the NSA, not the National Security Association. If you look at the NSA, you're looking for a speaker that has a designation in front of their name called CSP, which is a Certified Speaking Professional. Certified Speaking Professionals have to be making at least $500,000 or more out of speaking. And a lot of those people right now are going to struggle because they need to take their information and turn their information into product programs that they can sell online, because we can't do speaking events personally, but we can do web events as well. So the types of people I would go after are people who have an audience. Number two, that they are perhaps in the speaking environment, and they're also somebody that actually has money, right? So the designation CSP will designate the fact that they do have some capability and revenue, and they're the people you want to talk to. Most best-selling authors are broke, Mark. You don't make any money, any real money out of the selling of the books. The only money that comes from books is if you're a speaker or you have a back-end consulting or product. That's where the money is for speakers, not in their book. Their book is just a business card for speakers. So yes, your idea is valid, but you've got to kind of pick your market to make that work. So with that, no more questions. All right, so I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate you doing this. Same time, same bat channel tomorrow. Going to talk some other tactical things when it comes to sales and marketing and generating clients. Thank you for your shares. We are coming to the end of another week. So same time, same bat channel, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Damien Papworth, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you hopping on these calls. Look forward to seeing you all same time, same bat channel tomorrow. Take care, everybody.